And I'm back. What's up, everybody? After a hiatus that lasted way longer than I thought it would, I'm back bringing you guys the data for the Miami-Dade real estate market straight from the MLS, just like always. And let me tell you guys, this is a really important update because we're finally starting to see inventory take a big uptick. So we're going to talk about what that means, whether you're a buyer, a seller, an investor, doesn't matter. We're going to break it all down for you guys in this video, so stay tuned. Jake Fletcher here with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, your Miami real estate agent, and I'm literally ecstatic to be here with you guys. It's been way too long. I bought a new place, I got a new background, and so many things happening in life, but that's just it. That's life, you know, life happens, right? So here we are. That's all that matters, guys. And I'm super excited for this video because, like I said, we're talking about some pretty big information here. I've been doing market updates for Miami for literally years. I mean, I'm 5 years in real estate and I've been doing it since like the very beginning of my career. You can go back, I think I started my YouTube channel like 3 or 4 years ago. You can see market updates from all the way back then that are recorded on my channel if you want to see me with like long hair and stuff and looking like way younger and whatnot. But, you know, this update here is sort of like a glimmer of bright light. It's a little flash of hope in the pan of, you know, the shitty real estate market, basically. But before we get started with the data, let's set the premise. What we're talking about here is Miami-Dade, like I said, single-family homes, specifically in the non-luxury market, okay? The normal market, so to speak, which is basically the 90% of sales, right? The top 10% of the luxury market, that's everything above 1.5 million for single family homes. What we're talking about is the regular market, so everything that's 1.5 million or below. All right, and then the timeline we're looking at is January 2019 to October of 2023, and pretty soon we're going to have the November updates coming out. So make sure you hit subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss videos like this in the future, and so you can be the most informed consumer, not somebody else who beats you out on the offer, okay? Now, great news that I want to talk to you guys first here, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is that the number of active listings, aka active inventory, has increased for 4 months in a row now, okay? And we're looking at another increase in November as well, okay? Now, October of 2023 came in at 2,948 active listings, okay? Compared to September of 2023, the month before, there was 2,775 active listings, all right? So that's an increase of 173 single-family homes, or 6.2% in just 1 month. So that's pretty substantial. We haven't really seen inventory increases like that in 1 month for a while now, okay? So pretty significant. And compared to the low point of June, which was over here, this little low point right there, that actually it has been an increase of 298 single-family homes, or 11.2%. So since this low point, 11.2% rise in inventory, okay, in just 4 months. You know, but we do want to put a little more context on it, comparing it year over year to last October, which would have been like right there. That's actually a 21.9% reduction since that time. So, you know, we're working our way back up. We're doing our best, but we still have a ways to go for sure. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that we don't normally see inventory increases during this time of the year in real estate, right? The rule of thumb is generally that we see inventory decrease in the holidays, because who wants to list their home in the holidays and have, you know, random strangers coming through and, you know, looking through your house, you know, while it's the holidays. You might have family coming into town or whatever, right? So people who are listing in the holidays, they really need to sell. Otherwise, you know, most people don't want to do that. So they don't want to list in the holidays, right? So if you are listing in the holidays, because you need to sell, all right? Now, speaking of those people, new listings have gone up in 3 out of the 4 last months. So pretty encouraging sign there as well. October came in at 1,355 new listings versus September that came in at 1,271. Now, that's a difference of 84 new listings, or 6.6% month over month. Again, very significant. And compared to last year in October, when we had 1,309, that would have been right over here. That's an increase of 3.5% more listings year over year. So that's good news. We're starting to see, the new listings are trending up over the last year. And over the last about 6 months, we're starting to see that the active inventory overall is trending up. Now, why is that active inventory trending up overall? Well, it has to do with the amount of sales, because when you have an increase in inventory, but you don't have a commensurate increase in the number of sales, then you're going to start to see inventory build up, okay? And we're going to talk about that here in a second, but first I want to talk to you about average days on market, okay? As well as close price to original price ratio. Now, days on market came in at 51 days, up 4 days from September. Also 4 days year over year, okay? So last October, it was at, 47 days as well. So it's up 4 days. Might not sound that crazy, but look, this is a turning of the tides. We're looking at the green line there. Almost all year, we've been seeing days on market going down, 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 down. Houses selling quicker and quicker and quicker despite rising interest rates, okay? And we're going to talk about rising interest rates in a second here too. But we're starting to see that change of the tides, okay? From September to October, we see a bit of an increase. Now, November also looking like an increase in days on market. But again, that's going to be the a subsequent video once all the November data is in, because I'm actually recording this on Thanksgiving. So we don't have that full data yet. However, what we see is, the effects of the increasing inventory is starting to cause properties to sit on the market longer, okay? And obviously that's not the only reason. There's, the increased interest rates, there's which causes less demand. There's the fact that, with people, who can't figure out how to make it make sense to sell their homes to buy something else, right? That also eliminates a certain amount of demand in the market. There's so many reasons why we're starting to see, these listings starting to pile up. Sellers wanting to ask way more than what the property's worth, not being aware of what the market value is and thinking that it's still, May of 2021. So, there's lots of reasons why we're starting to see days on market start to increase, but it's something that we want to keep a very, very close eye on, because it's a very strong indicator of the direction of the market, okay? Right now, we only have 1 month of those days of market increasing in a row. So like I said, we're going to keep an eye on it on this channel. Hit subscribe. You guys know the drill, okay? So, we're definitely starting to see the sort of 7 to 7.5% interest rate range slowing things down. Oh, nope, this is not going to be that next graph. I'll show you that graph in a second. But first, the close price to original price ratio is also going down, which is another measure of, hey, sellers aren't quite getting as much as they were asking for their homes, compared to the final sale price. So close price to original price ratio just means what is the percentage difference between what a house was listed for originally to what it actually ended up selling for, and then taking that as an average across the whole market, okay? So what we see by a decreasing close price to original price ratio is that instead of sellers getting about, 98.3%, of what they're asking for, now they're actually getting 97.2%, okay? So taking a 1.1% drop month over month. But that is definitely still better than last October's 96.4 over here, right? So, we had a big old dip there, jump back up. Now it looks like it's jumping back down, okay? So another thing, just another measure of the market and what sellers are getting versus what they're asking for, right? So super important to keep in mind, because that's a good indicator of hey, are people getting deals in this market, or are houses going so quick and there's so much demand and sales pressure that, sellers are getting 100% of what they're asking or even more, right? You see the flat line there? What do you think that means? Off the charts, right? Now, next graph I want to talk to you guys about is one that most people are very interested in, which is median sale price, okay? Median sale price for the non-luxury single-family home range came in at $580,000 in October, okay? So that's that green line there that just basically looks like it's going to the moon. We had a little bit of a dip right there, okay? But it's $10,000 more than September, which was that little trough right there, Okay, so that's 1.8% increase month over month. Not a crazy deal. It's kind of been hovering around this 570 to 580 range since about May. Okay, so since about mid-year, single-family homes have been kind of oscillating back and forth. They have overall over the last year, they've definitely gone up, but over the last 6 months, they've kind of been like, oh, hold up, what's going on here? Are we increasing in price? Are we going down a little? Are we staying the same? What are people doing? All right. So that's kind of the moment that we're in. It's like the moment before like a sinking ship goes fully under, and you like everybody's holding their breath, expecting it to be crazy and something wild to happen, which it could. I don't know. We'll see. But compared to last October's 540,000. Obviously that's a $40,000 increase to 580, which is a 7.4% year over year increase. Okay, so pretty good year over year appreciation in the Miami-Dade single family home market when you have other metro areas seeing huge decreases. Okay, and no shade on those metro areas. It's just that Miami's the greatest city in the world. So what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So but by the way, if we look at all the price points, meaning including the above the $1.5 million luxury market, the median sale price would actually be what is it? $615,000. Okay, so from 580 to 615. That would be the difference if we included all the prices together. So you can kind of see why I take out the luxury range, because as an agent who's on the ground in the trenches day after day, I feel like that 580 number is a much better representation of the median home in Miami than the 615 number. Okay, so take it for what it is. We can also see that our days on market would be higher as well at 58 rather than 51. Okay, so a difference of $35,000 between the median sale price and 7 days longer. If we included all price points. Okay, so back to this little guy over here. Not that far in, guys. Come on now, relax, relájate. Sales. Let's talk about sales. That's the blue line. We got a problem with sales, guys. You can see what it is. Sales are down bad. Don't ask them if they're okay. They ain't. So they came in at 767 in October. That's a 74 sale decrease, or 8.8% less from September to October. Okay, so an 8.8% decrease month over month in sales is wild. Okay, it's a pretty sharp decrease, and it's after another month of decrease, after a month of a tiny modest gain, after a month of another big decrease and another big decrease, tiny modest gain, another decent decrease, right? But you say, oh, but look at this. This was, the holidays last year, the sales were way lower. Well, that's true, right? People were still freaking out about interest rates back then, though. So now people have kind of gotten used to the interest rates. They're like, oh, okay, interest rates are going to be 1,000%, bet. Like, let me just get into this house, right? So people have kind of gotten used to it. So that's what you're seeing there. After the beginning of the year, people were like, all right, whatever, interest rates are high. Let's just go ahead and buy a house, right? Now, as the year has gone on and interest rates have gotten higher and higher and higher, people have continued to be more and more sort of sheepish about wanting to step into a 30-year mortgage when rates are, very high compared to what they've been the preceding few years. Okay, especially as we see that median sale price line just going into the stratosphere. Okay, so it's a very precarious situation, especially as household debt increases, okay? People's mortgage debt is increasing, people's credit card debt has increased, people's student loan debts have increased. They recently resumed student loan payments. We are stepping into a moment where I finally feel like we probably ain't gonna land this soft landing, Mr. Jerome Powell. Not that I ever thought for sure that was gonna happen, but now it seems obvious that it's definitely not going to happen. Sorry to anyone who is still holding out for the soft landing, but it's looking like we may start to see the effects of the high interest rate environment on other aspects of the economy, and especially in terms of the real estate market, right? When interest rates are really high, bank to bank rates, and then when the 10-year treasury bond is going up, causing interest rates to skyrocket, then, for mortgages, then people are going to be less incentivized to buy, right? It's a simple equation. And then, at the same time, you're making it harder for businesses to borrow money when bank to bank rates increase, which is, increasing the cost of doing business for small businesses. It's going to slow hiring. You're going to potentially see more unemployment. And if we start to see higher unemployment in certain metro areas where we're seeing big increases of inventory, where we're seeing people's household debt skyrocketing and people going into further and further debt, especially in the holidays to buy presents and things like that, while we're starting to see foreclosures tick up, although not at like historic levels or anything, but they are ticking up, even though some mortgage services or servicers are trying to prolong, like for example, VA loans, they're offsetting, excuse me, which I'm all for helping out veterans. I think that's probably the right thing to do, but we're sort of prolonging this ultimate reset that we kind of need to happen. And what I mean by that is, as the higher, the higher and longer, the longer the interest rates are higher, I should say, the more that it's likely that we'll see a retraction in the real estate market, okay, nationally. In Miami, that could be a different story, okay? So we're going to definitely be keeping our eyes on, the market here, as we always do, and I'll be reporting to you guys, bringing you information, economic data, tying it all into what it means to the Miami market as well, just like this, okay? Back on the topic of sales here, like I was saying earlier, you do tend to see less sales as we get closer to the holidays. With the exception of recent years, you see like some pop-ups here happening right before the holidays, pop up, right? So a little bit of like outlier activity happening there. However, we've seen a downtrend in sales since March of 2022 overall, right? So March of 2022, jumped back up. So what I want to show you guys next here is this graph of mortgage rates, okay? Now, what you're looking at here is a graph of mortgage rates over the last year, okay? So what we see is that, during this sort of time that sales were decreasing all year, mortgage rates were doing what? They were increasing all year, okay? So you can sort of almost see how the trajectory of this mortgage, this is the 30-year fixed rate conventional mortgage rate, okay? You can kind of see how that mirrors the upward momentum. If you sort of averaged out this line, you can see how that upward momentum trajectory, the angle of that graph sort of mirrors this graph, right? Now, obviously it's a graph, there's ways you can make graphs look certain ways or whatever, right? But it just goes to show that as interest rates have been climbing, we've been seeing sales going down over the last year, right? Now, if I showed you that same interest rates over this time as well, you would also see that the interest rates have been climbing since November of 2021 was when they first started like rocketing up into the atmosphere, okay? Now, last graph I want to show you guys here is months of inventory. So they are still increasing, our months of inventory. They're at a sharper pace now than they were last month, and now we're officially able to round up to 4 months of inventory. So it's still a seller's market for sure, but we've been at 3 months of inventory since March for single-family homes. So even though this doesn't look like a flat line, you either round the number up to the next number if it's 0.5 or higher, or rounded down if it's lower than 0.5, right? Just like normal math. So now we're at like 3.8 months of inventory. So we rounded up to 4 months of inventory, okay? But we had been at 3 months of inventory for all this time, and now we're at 4. Why are we at 4? Well, like I was saying, less sales, right? Drastically less sales, more higher inventory. Really, it's the inventory that pushed it over the edge for this one, right? So the less sales that we see, the more the inventory starts to rack up, the higher we're going to see months of inventory, the more we're going to see days on market increase, and the higher the possibility of us actually seeing median sale price go down, okay? It might go from that wavering between that 570, 580 to going, oh, 570, oh, 560, oh, 550, right? We could see that. I'm not betting on that, but it's possible. It just depends what happens in the spring market. That's the very important variable that you guys want to watch for and subscribe to this channel for, because we'll be watching for it and you won't have to because I'll do it for you, is when we get to the spring market, which is usually when we see the most amount of new listings, what's going to happen? Are we going to see a more modest increase of new listings because interest rates are still high, or are interest rates going to continue to go down like they've been doing sort of, recently? You can see here on this graph, the interest rates have been, sort of going down like just recently here from the 7.5 range into like the 7.2, 7.3. So, it just depends. If interest rates keep going down into the spring market, we could see an onslaught of new listings, piling up of active inventory, piling up of days on market, and we could potentially see a drop in prices. But I'm not banking on it. It just depends though. So we're going to be watching, we're going to see what happens. Definitely all the reasons in the world to subscribe, like I said. And I'm really curious what you guys think about this. What are you seeing in your neck of the woods? Do you guys have any questions? Drop them in the comments down below. And I'd love to hear from you guys. If there's any, specific areas that you want me to do a market update for Miami, let me know. I'm open to it. And I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Jake Fletcher with the Fletcher Group at eXp Realty, your Miami real estate agent. Thanks for watching. Peace.